If you're just joining us, our discussions are starting up. Let me quickly introduce my guests this morning. Barrister Adem is joining me on the program this morning. Adem is the National Coordinator, Akwa Ibom Good Governance Project. He's a lawyer, a human rights activist, and a social commentator as well. He's from Akwa Ibom State, so he's a stakeholder in Akwa Ibom. Good to see you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All the years I've known you, I don't know you to be a politician. Are you a politician now?
Definitely not. Let me say this very clearly from get-go. Akwa Ibom Good Governance Project is a civil society organization that has a tripartite objective of good governance, credible elections, and voters' education in Akwa Ibom State. We very much believe that the much-needed change in the country must be broken down and must start from home, just like charity. And if everyone takes up his or her state as the focal point to drive this change, then collectively the nation will experience the much-needed change. So we said we are grossly dissatisfied with the state of affairs in our state, and we decided to take destiny in our hands and begin to drive a people-generated change. So clearly, this project is not a pseudo-campaign platform for anybody. Okay. We are not politicians.
Okay, Adam, we'll come back to it shortly.
Yes.
But let me introduce your other colleague. Barrister Leo Ekweyong is joining us on the program this morning. Leo is also the Abuja chairman of the same forum. That's Akwa Ibom Good Governance Project. Leo, good to see you too.
Good morning.
He's also a human rights activist of some sort. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, Leo. All right, let's go back to the Akwa Ibom Good Governance Project.
Yes.
What's your position on the goings on in Akwa Ibom State? Maybe we should start from the... Let me give you something that you may not know. It's a kind of breaking news of some sort. Information coming from Akwa Ibom this state this morning is to the fact that the police raided the hideout of kidnappers yesterday, and 3 of the kidnappers were shot dead. Some of the hostages were freed. Among these hostages freed is a younger brother of a service senator. So security, let's start with security, is an issue in Akwa Ibom State. How sufficiently bothered are you about this?
Thank you so much, Benga. We are grossly disappointed, if not totally despondent, about the state of security in our state. Let's go right back to the very beginning. What is the essence of government? From the days of Thomas Hobbes, where people came together and collectively decided to surrender their will to a select group called government, the essence was the protection of life and limb. Now, over time, this has remained a canon of governance, and today it is recognized in our constitution. That's why the governor of the state is given the role, constitutional duty, of being the chief security officer. Furthermore, a special allocation is guaranteed by the Constitution called security vote. This prioritizes the issue of security and makes it number 1. Of all the items on any agenda, if there is no security, every other thing will fall flat. In Akwa Ibom State, there has been not only a crisis of security, but a failure of it. And this we attribute clearly to the constitutional officer in charge of security in the state. Governor Godswill Akpabio has failed abysmally to maintain law and order. I give you one very opposite example. Governor Akpabio has 3 helicopters in his fleet, yet he cannot give even one to the state police command to use for surveillance. So we are not satisfied. A situation where people die.
The police is a federal government.
Yes.
State governors are chief security officers of their states,
yes,
but only in name.
Yes.
The control of the security agencies, the security apparatchik, is in the hands of some other persons so far away from those states. Could that be also an issue? Could it be a defense?
No, let me say this very clearly. Everyone, every citizen has a duty to be a stakeholder in security. Security is not the exclusive duty of any one person. That's why I have community policing. Let me give you a benchmark. Governor Raja Fashola in Lagos State, when he came into office, the first thing he did was to set up the Lagos State Security Trust Fund. He got all the private sector members and other critical stakeholders involved in the process, and he created an institution separate and different from the state apparatus, but sufficiently entitled to render security. That is the first thing he did, building a structure that endures and survives a governor, security being a universal issue. So, as a CSO, Chief Security Officer of a state, you are duty-bound to create institutions, enabling environment, complement the services of the state to achieve security. Once you fail in that, you have failed in all. It's like a compulsory question in a school certificate exam. You fail one, you fail all. ICANN, law school, everybody, we have that. So security is key. Why do you have the vote if you have nothing to do with it? We should use the vote to empower the people, create jobs, but there is need for a state governor to ensure, because there is no economy, there is no investment, education, no roads, no flyover will exist without people. For people will use the roads and fly over what may be there or not there. So security is key. A situation whereby you have over 150 kidnap cases, some resulting in death, cannot be security. A situation where people no longer go home. For example, when I need to go home now, I cannot afford the services of getting policemen to guard me. It was not so. This state was created in 1987. From that time till now, we've had series of governors. Statistics show crime rate every year. There is an empirical fact to that. Now, between the last 3 years that Governor Fabio has been in place, the state has witnessed unprecedented failure of security. That scares away investors. So who will come? That even scares away materials. So who will come? That scares away people genuinely who want to go home and drive the process. But you see, we have risen above fear because we are not afraid of anyone. Security is key. If you fail in that, you fail in all. In civilized democracies, the governor should have resigned ordinarily. And where he does not, we will call for a state of emergency because it has gotten to that level.
Okay. Leo, the security situation in the Akwa Ibom state. There are security challenges in all the states. Yes. But the security situation in Akwa Ibom cannot be said to be peculiar. Or is it peculiar? And again, is it political as well? Does it have political dimensions?
You see, just like my brother just mentioned, you see, the security situation in Akwa Ibom state, or the state of insecurity, is peculiar to the state because of some very, very obvious reasons. The upsurge of cultism in the state is responsible for the state of insecurity in the state. So we will not have security of lives and property in Akwa Ibom state if the governor himself is not sincere about demolishing every form of cultism in the state and other cult-related activities. If this is not done, I can assure you that, just as he mentioned, we may degenerate to the Chomoso state of nature.
What will make the state to be supporting cultism and cultism?
Well, that is the fundamental question that has begged for an answer. Because...
No, I'm asking you.
Yes.
I know you are based in Abuja. Dem is in Lagos.
Yes.
I know you are in Abuja. Yeah. But you should be in touch
with... But how do you explain why the governor should surround himself with all these groups of cultists? That is what the governor himself has to explain to Nigerians and Akwa Ibomites in particular.
Who are the cultists?
Who
are the groups?
We have, in fact, the names, they have over 200 groups. But I must be very sincere in mentioning that the most prominent cult groups in Akwa Ibom State are very known. The Vikings, the KK clans, and the Band Boys. You know them. That is why, as we are speaking on air today, should anything happen to any of us or any member of our family, Governor Godswill Akpabio should be held responsible. Because these groups, over 200 of them, they have names that are pseudonyms.
Are they cultural groups?
They are not. They are formed. They are formed.
You are not saying that.
No, they are formed on the basis. I am very close to my home.
Yeah, I'm trying to relate Akwa Ibom Cross River. Like a Cross River, for example, you have the carnivals every time,
yes.
And you have some of these names that you have mentioned. The Vikings.
But how many cases of
And I know that they are cultural. Yes. They are driven by prominent citizens. The Senator Florence Itagiwas, the Governor Donald Dukes.
No, these are set of these groups.
Governor Imo Case, all of them leading different
these groups basically are formed on the basis of what I would describe. They are formed on the basis of political affiliation.
They are not cultural.
They are pseudonyms of cult-related, cultists. Groups of cultists. And the governor feels that if he surrounds himself with all these boys, he believes that power is might, it's all about might. And he feels that these young people who have been entrenched in one cult-related activity or the other